tonight's speaker is Dave Sorokowsky. We're talking about Maudiae Paphs Paradise. This will tell you these are some of the easiest paths to grow, especially in our conditions. So they should be really good. We've got some in the opportunity table. Dave himself comes originally from the Great White North, from the Great White North of Canada, specifically outside of Toronto. Got his degrees and started in the tropical fish hobby. And then graduated and started collecting orchids in his graduate career in virology, and then started hybridizing Paphiopedilums over 20 years ago. He then eventually made his way into the judging program and came up here to work in the wineries, and then left in 2018 to do orchids full time. Dave now runs Paph Paradise. It's one of our favorite vendors at our shows, and are some of the best, and so we really enjoy to have him. So I introduce you, Dave Sorokowsky, the board here.
Mary needs a little electrolysis, I think. Mary needs to do something about that, I'm sure. And let's see if this works.
I don't know if that's going to work. Oh, it looks like it's working.
It works. Amazing. All right, this is a presentation I put together several years ago. Originally, I think it was an AOS webinar of this. It's the first time I ever did a webinar, and I was awkwardly talking to a computer in my living room with no response from them. We've got used to that with Zoom, but the first time you do that, and when I play that webinar, it sounds very awkward. Yeah, I need people to interact with. We're just staring at a computer talking for 40 minutes or something. But anyway, this has been modified since then. Things have changed. Originally put it together because a lot of times Maudiae Paphs get a bad rap. They're not fancy paths. They're not multiflorals, the rots that are all big and glorious, or the waxy, long-lasting complex. But these are really some pretty special stuff going on with these. So we're going to go, well, doing the introduction, we're going to look at, where they came from, what the species that make it up, the people who did this over the years, who made these hybrids, some of the key breakthroughs, and then the current state, and then where we're going with these in the future. So Paph Maudiae is Callosum Lawrenceanum. That makes Paphiopedilum Maudiae. We refer to the whole group as mods, or you can call them mottled leaf paths. Some people call them complex models. There's a lot of different things you can call them. I just refer to them as body types. So that's Paphiopedilum Maudiae. It was made in 1900. So back before we had labs to set our seed pods to, where the breeders would just sprinkle some of the seed at the base of the plant and hope that the seed found the mycorrhizal fungus that they need to germinate. So you didn't get a whole lot of plants back then. What's up?
We were having the issue.
Oh, yeah.
Keep going.
That'll be them. Some of the important species that make up the hybrids we see today: Acmodontum, Sorokowsky, Mastercianum, Maudiae. We're going to see some Maudiae hybrids as we go. Curtisii, Purpuratum, bring the red petals, and we'll go into more of these things in detail. So, over the years, hybrids made with Paphiopedilum Maudiae. Oh, I need my cheat sheet. Oh, a lot of numbers that I can't remember here. There we go. Here we go. All right, if we cross Maudiae back to Lawrenceanum, that gives us Almagaver. Where is it? There it is, back in 1911. Almagaver was used 96 times to make another hybrid. So 96 F1 first generation hybrids from Almagaver. The total progeny from this hybrid is 761. So 761 body type hybrids that are out there trace their roots back to this hybrid. If we cross Maudiae by Curtisii, And we don't usually think of Curtisii in the Maudiae group much. You don't see it dominating the shade with those downswept petals, that big pouch sticking out. That makes Paph emerald. And emerald has 75 first generation hybrids made with it. But 1,367 hybrids trace their roots back to this. That's the most of any we'll see here. So this is a very important hybrid made back in 1911, over 100 years ago, that's influencing what we see today.
What was the reasoning to use emerald? What were they trying to get?
I think, well, when you look at it, it's got a lot more color than some of the others you see from the Curtisii bringing in those greens. And I think moving to Curtisii away from, so it's a little further removed as far as how closely related it is, you get a lot more vigor. And you're getting size from Curtisii as well. Think about it. We want big flowers, right? If we cross Maudiae to Maudiae, we get Paph petal Petula, that's 743. Maudiae brings the dark spots, and line breeding of Maudiae itself has created solid dark petals, which is also something we're getting from some of the more advanced hybrids. And actually, coincidentally, yesterday, looking at some of the Maudiae seedlings I made a sibling cross a few years ago, most of them have the spotted petal, like the one for sale here. One has solid colored brown petals. It's a much weaker plant, but because it's expressing more recessive characteristic. And Petula, surprisingly, only 21 primary hybrids within and 211 total offspring. So not a lot for that long. Goltinianum, I can't remember the parents over right now. By Maudiae gives us onyx. Back in 45. 316 progeny from onyx, yes.
Would that be the first color that was really produced or the widely distributed?
This is the onyx in 45 was not a big.
That's not of it?
It wasn't. It's the only onyx photo I can find. So, yeah, we will come up. We'll talk about things. We'll get to that. For trustees onto Maudiae gave us Dr. Knock, Dr. Knock. 29 F1 offspring, 140 total. And Maudiae by Sorokowsky gives us a coolie. So Sorokowsky is very dominant for form and breeding. You get those horizontal petals from Sorokowsky. You get the spotting in the petals from Sorokowsky. It's very dominant for form. It's been a pretty productive one with 97 F1 hybrids from it and 863 total progeny. And again, Sorokowsky is going to give you size as well as the color. William Matthews has Matthewsianum in it. That gives us Via Vital, one crossed with Maudiae. 27 F1 hybrids, 232 total progeny. Because it's got Matthewsianum in it, get that glossiness. A lot more texture, longer lasting flowers, glossy flowers. And then the last one is just Maudiae by Matthewsianum. Again, it's a very glossy flower. Gives us Nettie McNay. So Matthewsianum, dominant for color, brings in the green, brings in the reds, and very glossy, long-lasting flowers. I like to use Matthewsianum and hybridizing it. It gives you longer lasting flowers, tall stems. It's everything you want. You want your flowers to last a long time. You want to see them up above your plant. That's what you want. And then going back to Maudiae with that gives us dot McNay. Again, that color stays there. We've got a bigger dorsal. This Matthewsianum is a small dorsal, very dominant for form in that first generation. All right, some of the important hybridizers over the years. First of all, There's 330 first generation hybrids made with Maudiae. Oh, sorry, there's 330, yeah, 35 of them were made in the 80s. 139 were made in the 90s. So that's when Maudiae hybridizing really took off. And some of the most important people involved in that are listed right there. There are a lot more, but we're going to focus on these few. So the first breakthrough, vinicolors. They came from sparkling burgundy, Colossum sparkling burgundy. That plant was in a batch of Supercoolii at Stewart Orchids. It was in the Tom Dell collection, and it was one that was not in Supercoolii.
How do you define vinegar?
It's that deep burgundy. That's basically the definition of the deep burgundy flowers. Yeah. So this showed up in a batch of jungle collected plants at Stewart. It was dominant for vinicolor. So you crossed it to a Colorado standard colored mod, everything came out vinicolor. If you sieved it or selfed it, you got 75% minis and 25% regular color. So they made Paphs Paphs and Maudiae with sparkling burgundy. Norito said the interesting thing was they didn't realize what they'd done. They created a big population of vinicolors and they just sold them off and didn't realize until they started blooming. Then they recalled them all. They didn't want people to have them.
Too late.
Yeah. Bender's treasure was a very important one. They brought Colossum to Kowloon back in '82. It has 1,800 total progeny. That's how many things have come from this one hybrid that they made.
That you know about,
What's that?
that you know about,
That are registered.
right?
Yes. Plus, that's a year-old data because Orchid Wiz has been updated in a year. So. And I'm not going through all the things to find out by myself. So I'm going off Orchid Wiz data. Third of those in the last 10 years. So when I put this presentation together originally, that number was 1,300 and something. And then when I reviewed it and updated it, it's gone up a lot. So there's been a lot of Maudiae breeding done in the last decade. Bender's treasure got an AQ from the AOS. Those of you who aren't familiar with an AQ, the exhibitor brings in 12 siblings, minimum 12. There has to be an AOS quality award in there, an HCC, an AM, FCC, at least one, usually more. And then the whole cross is being recognized as being a superior quality cross. So the award goes to the hybridizer, and if somebody happened to buy a dozen seedlings and did the exhibitor and the hybridizer both get credit. But it's really to the hybridizer. So Norito Hasegawa and Harold Kupowitz, half fanatics. They have 80 Maudiae hybrids to their credit, roughly. And they started with Paphs Maudiae Black Monarch, FCC AOS. And that was one of the ones that snuck out of Stewart before they realized what they had.
Yeah.
And they made 14 hybrids, F1 hybrids with Maudiae. This is a homozygous vinicolor. The leaves are vinicolor, the flower is vinicolor. Not all vinicolor plants have a vinicolor bulb. They have pure green leaves and get a dark purple flower, burgundy flower. This is Terry Rutherford is the double factor for homozygous. You cross this one to any Maudiae, you get 100% vinis. The problem is, most of these double factor homozygous type do not produce a nice flower. There is so much pigment. And Norito told me a story about somebody picking out one like this out of the trays, small seedling, you know, a few inches across. They charged him $1,000 for it because he really wanted it. Absolute dog when it goes. No refunds. When you do find, hybridize, when you do find one like this with that dark foliage and a good flower, that's a keeper. That's why if you come to the nursery and see a bunch of them like that, they have green tags on it. They're not for sale till I see them. At Oz, at Orchid Zone, I maybe got one. Homozygous plant over the years, so it's just too much statement. So Dr. Knock, we saw that earlier, back to Maudiae. Gave us Knock Knock. And that got 11 AOS awards and went on to make 18 more hybrids, primary. Joanne's Wine, Maudiae by Vendor's Treasure, we saw Vendor's Treasure earlier. 23 AOS awards, 38 primary offspring. Vendor's Treasure of Emerald, we saw Emerald way back, that was the second one we saw. Gave us Kevin's Wine, 12 awards and 22 first generation offspring, yes.
So the main trend in that time frame, was it dorsal, or was it color, or was it, or?
At this point, it was,
It's been, but it was, what it was this.
you're getting a big dorsal from, Pelosi.
Okay.
That's what you get. Yeah. Yeah.
When you register at one offspring, like, in the name of your different, or does it have to be different?
If you cross two plants, and you get seedlings and you bloom one, once you bloom one, you can register with the RHS.
But, you register,
The originator has to register, or you can buy one, you can get permission from the originator. If you buy a plant somewhere like a Trader Joe's, you have no idea, it's got both parents there, but you can't find out who made it, you can register it as origin or not. But if you do know the originator, you have to make an effort to get their permission.
Or is it
No.
based on
In theory, you could pull two names out of a hat, stick them together, and tell the RHS, that we did that 12 pounds. Right, so the delivery is 12 pounds to do that.
But in the modern era, from two breeders, there's a large trend of scooping, so in the modern era, you should know who the originator is nowadays.
And for a primary hybrid, two species put together, you must send them a digital image of the flower. For a complex hybrid, you don't have to, just a description. There are people over the years that, before my time in the business, that people suspected basically if they got germination, they went ahead and registered it. Oh, yeah. I won't say who. Another colossum that came out of there, back in the day was colossum Jack. It was another vinicolor one, but it was recessive to Vinny. But Norito said it did breed for spots in the petals. You can see the petal, it's a terrible AOS slide back before digital time. But the petals are very heavily spotted. It did breed well for spots. Another Paphanatics, a hybrid, Maudiae Robert Ward. 28 AOS awards, so it was a pretty good quality flower. And 16 offspring first generation. There's two more examples, fairly consistent hybrid. And then Maudiae by Red Mod, it only got one award, but Norito said it was an important parent for them because they did make 25 hybrids with it. So they did like it as a parent. And then they did some album type Maudiae breeding. This is Oriental Mystique. 3 generations from Maudiae. Antec Laboratories in upstate New York, Bob and Lynn Wellenstein. If you look up how many they're credited with, it's 5. Lynn said they made about 40, but other people would register them. There you go. So somebody got it at a show, saw the name and registered it because they were obviously Bob and Lynn were not really on top of registering things. Some hybrid nurseries are. The second they have something bloom, they won't let anything out of the nursery until it's registered. Quintal Farms in Hawaii is like that. They know me. They won't let me take something out of there till they've registered it. They know I won't register it. Not gonna use their register. Red Glory by Mod. K-Show Glory. Again, big dorsals from the callosum. Lyro Glorious, Pacific Magic by Red Glory. Again, it's Vinny, but it's big dorsals from callosum again. You can see the callosum roots. And then Vercrues, Maudiae by Red Glory. So there's Maudiae giving you those dark petals. Carl Smith, Frank Smith has about 35 Maudiae types registered, but he did some really interesting work with Maudiae in particular. He really liked what Marito and Harold were doing with minis, so he decided he was going to dive into there and see what he could do. So he remade Satchel Paige, which is Maudiae by Vinder's Treasure, and he got an AQAOS. Frank's got a lot of AQs. Frank has done a lot of really good stuff. He took Satchel Paige to Super Coolii, and we got Rory Jones. Dark petals, solid black petals. I remember getting some of these when I was starting in Paphs, and these solid black petals wouldn't open. They were crippled over and wouldn't flatten out. On one of the plants, I let it bloom 3 times. By the time it was a strong enough plant with 3 growths, the one that first 2 blooms, the petals were completely folded over and cupped, bloomed out completely flat. So don't give up on this type of thing. Maudies especially, don't give up on them on the first bloom where the flower doesn't look great. It's a lot of energy for that little plant to do that first bloom. And these petals in particular, those are solid, those are waxy. They don't have the energy to open them. So bloom it a few times before you give up on it. Scott Ware was Satchel Paige by Cecilia Divine. And it also got an AQAOS. Another one for Frank. And we'll see Macabre later, but he also used Macabre for a bit. And he made Gabba Dabba Doo, which is Cairo by Macabre. The Orchid Zone. Terry, I say he dabbled in Maudiae. He didn't dabble in anything. It's all nothing to Terry. Credited with 66 Maudiae hybrids. He made a lot more than that. But again, some of those things went out as pot plants. They get registered by somebody who finds it in the flower market or Trader Joe's or wherever they ended up. So he was. I didn't have a photo of a bench full of mods because he rarely had them. He had benches full of complex, benches full of rocks. But anyway. Terry said that vinicolors are really what got Oz rolling as far as making some big money for him. He got some flasks from Pathematics, and he was off to the races. The one thing Terry did that nobody else does, he bloomed everything before he could sell it. So you couldn't go in and buy seedlings from him. He had to grade everything because he's going to find that $10,000 plant for the Japanese buyers before he sells you everything like that else. So I can't do that. I got to sell something. Who's going to pay my mortgage? Impulse was made by the Orchid Zone. Incantation by Pulsar. 26 first generation offspring from that. Pulsar, Red Sky by Voodoo Magic, 814 total progeny from that. So that was a very important plant. And notice at this point, we still have our big dorsal, but our petals are getting a little wider. Selective breeding and bringing in other species. Magic Leopard, which is Ruby Leopard by Voodoo Magic. Very, again, you've got even bigger dorsal now, wider petals, bigger flower. Very like big. Big is good. Big sells for more than Japanese.
Dave,
Yeah.
is this still in the 80s and the 90s by the photos before the new
Yes.
species came in?
Yeah.
Or the new Maudiae came in?
Yes.
Okay.
Flame Arrow was an important parent, 184 total progeny. Terry liked this one because it gave a lot of range of colors and it was very full and flat. And then Red Glory, Glorious by Red Mod. Again, a lot of total progeny from that at 370. Terry liked to experiment. He liked to see what he would get. He had the room to do it, the luxury to do that. I can experiment a little. So he saw what every different species he could cross into do. We saw, sorry, the parents there. Maudiae by pulsar time zone. Again, Maudiae, darker petals, lots of big spots. Darker pouch. Achnodonum, he said it brought those clean lines in the dorsal. And despite being a smaller flower with sort of narrow petals, he said it would breed into things with wide petals and not be recessive. So the wide petals would come through, which we'd still get the color from Achnodonum. Barbatum, it's a smaller species, but it brings a lot of glossy texture. Dark color. That is Barmod, and then I jumped ahead. This is more recent. This is QF Wainani, which is Lorraine's Pride by Barbatum. Again, you got that really glossy, dark pouch, dark petals, real nice flower. I got a name on this one, I think. Again, Massachusetts, like I said, you get that green color, you get the glossy texture. And this is Alma Gabbard by Massachusetts, and that's Living Desert. We already know Colosum gives us that big dorsal. This is Fremont Peak, Clarissa by Colosum. 17 first generation hybrid with 645 total offspring. So that was a really good one for Terry. Voodoo Magic. Multinianum by Vittner's Treasure, registered by Frank Hughes in '87. Terry bought 6 blasts and blew them out. Picked out some good ones, decided to cross it to Superculia. And we got macabre. Now, if we look at the macaques from back then in the early '90s, we wouldn't score that anymore. But he line bred these. And he went 4 generations. And took them in different directions where you get that Superculia color with the green dorsal and red pouch and the spots in between like this with the green in the background. There's one more like a Superculia in the mini color types. So he took it in all kinds of directions, and macabre is a very important parent to a lot of what we see now. So that is Zelda Station, which is a macabre hybrid. And that is Singing Maru. And that gave us Wood Wonder. Wood Wonder has been an important thing. That's another Wood Wonder. Terry actually gave me that one. He didn't have the color. Okay. I picked it up and he said, that's only $50. And I said, he said, I don't like the color. I said, I love it. He said, take it. Okay. Yeah, that was a good customer. Another Wood Wonder. And another Wood Wonder. So we've got macabre is a little narrower dorsal because Superculia has a small dorsal. We've got this far down the road, we've got bigger dorsal now, we've got big broad petals, lots of different colors to work with. He crossed Wood Wonder with King Charles. King Charles is Charles Worthii onto Wawona Maiden. Wawona Maiden is Charles Worthii by Pellis, that old orange looking complex hybrid. So this is, it was 25% complex, 75% Charles Worthii. And when crossed with Wood Wonder, it gave Ruby Wonder. So this is mostly Maudiae, but there's 12.5% complex in there. Slayhoo orchids, Graham's 600 plus registrations probably on mods at this point. Started breeding Maudiae Paphs in 2000. He has different series and lines that he's breeding. The Fred series is pinks. He's trying to make solid pinks with just a green center, no spots. Some of the later generations he's getting there. Friedrich von Hayek has 186 total products. A lot of those are grams. Friedrich von Hayek by Perianum, when you cross Perianum into pretty much anything, very dominant for shape. You can see the Perianum there. There's that dorsal, there's the downswept petals. Only two offspring from this. The downside of Perianum, it's a little genetically weird from the rest of them, and you don't get a lot of fertility. So while I'd love to breed on with something like that, generally they're not great. There we go. President Fred has 3 offspring. President Fred. So again, he's intensifying that green in the middle and getting a darker pink. Oxymoron series using Wood Wonder. Friedrich von Hayek by Wood Wonder gives us that. And then there's Magically Wood and Captivatingly Wood. So a lot of the macabre Wood Wonder type look to things. He's done a lot with alba types. This is Oriental Jewel. This is Spring Wolf. He really likes Venustum as a parent. Venustum is a smaller growing plant, grows very vigorously. If you can't grow Venustum, you can't grow any paths. This is Ninja by Venustum. The brainy pattern on the pouch still comes through. Venustum is very dominant for size. You get smaller flowers, but you get some really good colors from Venustum hybrids. And he's also making these ghostly whites. I don't care for them all, but to each their own. That's why we have Teresa Goldfarb. That's why we all red cars. They're a little more sluggish growing, although the most recent generations, I think he's got a bit more vigor into them. I mean, you've teased out some very recessive genes to make this happen. No pigment whatsoever, no chlorophyll, no epicide, nothing. Not my cup of tea, but there's people that really like them. And I'm making more of them. Something Graham was working on for the future was trying to get spots into the dorsal, so we get these big spots to move up there. You got small spots. What's it going to take? There was some Argus that had some spots. Put that in. I don't know if that'll work, but that'll take a few generations. The bodies are pretty quick turnaround generation time, so that's possible to get some of these big spots into the dorsal. We'll see what happens. Harold Kupowitz for the future would like to see more colors. Well, I'm working on that. He figures that if you press master sienna into the albums for the green and whites, you might get solid greens that could lead you to yellows. That would take a little work, but might be interesting to pursue. I tried something to get some yellows and I got some really weird pinks. So, shows you what I know. Ploidy, tetraploids. Dark Destiny, Hadley Cash made this. I saw this when I visited him there. It is absolutely incredible. It's heavy, waxy, amazing. Frank Smith came up and would not leave without a revision of his plant, ended up paying $7,500 for it. And Hadley passed away. Frank got the rest of it. Hadley had some really interesting stuff. He did some really neat things. Harry's vision. Well, bigger's better, right? Bigger, fatter, fuller. He wants Maudies to start looking like that. Well, that's a complex. But there's a Maudie that I made. We're getting there. We'll come back to that one.
How big was that?
Oh, it's good size. The judges haven't seen it yet. Yes.
Does the flower size vary a lot from different like species hybrids?
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, Venustum is very dominant for size, so you get real small flowers, but you get great color. So it takes a couple generations to get the size back. That's a nice looking path. Everyone would like one. Well, let's just clone them. Let's just make a whole mess of them.
Yes, one.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There's two people sitting behind you that have Americlones of Gloria Novel. That they got from me, I didn't make it.
How'd they break it? How'd they break it? How'd they break it?
No, Taiwan. Technology in Taiwan. For these guys, it doesn't make sense. They come from seed so fast and we can improve them so quickly in the next generation, but like for the Gloria Novel, I take Ross Tillianum, I cross with my Grantham. If I bloom out 100, I'm gonna get a couple of really nice, I'm gonna get a bunch that are, yeah, pretty good. I'm gonna get a bunch of really ugly ones. Because those two species are so distantly related. They don't match up well every time, so you can get a lot of them with weird upside down petals and awkward stuff. And most of them come out just okay, but when you get a real good one that blooms consistently and grows like a weed, why not clone it? And they don't do big runs, they don't do a million like white phalaenopsis, they do smaller runs of it. And I've twice I've gotten the same Mariclone, and well, Joe will tell you, it turned out pretty nice.
So.
Yeah.
When they're cloning, are they cloning thousands of them from the same group, like,
Same plant.
okay, so,
It's
you know,
one plant.
once you more clone, sometimes the flowers become smaller. Or
Yes, well, they'll do test runs, like you know, going to Taiwan and seeing test runs of Phalaenopsis, they'll do a test run of 500. And I've seen the test runs that fail, because none of them look the same. And then I've seen the result of good ones where I walked into a greenhouse with 500,000 of the same plant, the same white Phalaenopsis there, which is kind of depressing. Exactly. And for pot plants like that, it's great. Like I said, for something like Gloria Novel, there's been a couple other of that type, the Harvey's by multifloral.
Yeah.
Why not, Eric? Then everybody can have a nice one. You know, you can buy a seedling from me and hope you get a nice one, or you can buy one that's a clone of it.
And you put down the price.
The clones were a little more than buying a seed.
Do you can move your plants or you want to leave?
I can't clone. No, it's all seed.
Is it not common to clone them? Is it not common to clone them?
Paphs, not common at all. No, most of them are seed, yeah, 99.99% of the paphs are all seed grown.
What makes it difficult?
It's just the way the meristematic tissue is, I haven't seen how they do it. But when you clone a Cattleya, it's that little shoot of new growth, they cut that or. Oncidium, all that's the meristematic tissue, really needs to clone. Put it into the right thing, shake it up, and away you go, you got tons of paths were more challenging, but they did figure it out in time. Because they've got the money to do it. All right, what have I been up to? First commercial hybrid I really made in this group was Urban by Vote Wonder, which I called Urban Vote. And one got an award at the show here last year, which I wouldn't have scored, but somebody liked it. That's why they gave it. And then another one got an award at Santa Barbara's next couple weeks later. And probably having seen better ones from the cross. It was huge. I see why they pulled it. It was enormous. But anyway, this wasn't it. This was one I would have scored. But anyway. No wonder I really liked it. I crossed with Ross Auto, so Bracky. Gave Auto Wonder. And then there was this really good Auto Wonder. Of course, the best one probably dies. But that's not, this won't breed on anyway, so I didn't lose sleep over it. There's King Charles again. I took after James, which was a cross from the Orchid Zone.
Not breeding on, you think it's a chromosome number problem?
Yeah, Harvey or Bracky by Mod probably won't breed on. If you do, you'll get very little. It's not.
Would that be grounds then to maybe do break them into different genera? In your opinion?
Taxonomist. I mean, there's still a packet petal, it's just they're different sections. So, I mean, if you put them at tetraploid level, it might breed.
Yeah.
After James was Orchid Zone hybrid, one of the biggest Maudiae plants. It's big plants, big tall stems. Across that with King Charles, which gave me Paradise and Murder. This King Charles makes awesome things. It's fantastic. This is Hawaiian volcano. That is the first plant I bought from Graham at Lake Lua for a whopping $100. I looked at it and I said, that has so much potential to breed in so many different directions. With the color, I mean, it's got the red in it, it's got the bright green, the dark green behind it. Frosted, of course, to the wonder. And got Maudiae Paradise. That's been my probably the best cross I've ever made as far as a lot of really nice stuff. That was Nick Burnett, named for one of the judges in the Sacramento judging center that passed away today. I got that. Good friend. This is the best one that the judges haven't seen yet. I just cut, this was a year ago it bloomed, I cut the flower off, just cut off this year's flower last week, and next year it goes to bed. Want to build a big strong plant. And the pollen is going to be for 2 weeks. Dots Delight, that's Terry Root hybrid. I only ever saw 5 of them at the Orchid Zone. I bought every one I saw. Crossed it to, and I got it awarded, and Terry had it named it Dots Delight. My wife was going to be on stage, and I called it Dots. Crossed Above Wonder gave me Dot Spots, which incredible white petals. And there's that one that I showed you earlier. These two got AMs last year. This one has not gotten judging yet. That was on a single little growth. So when I grow it up, that's going to be spectacular. The downside of Dot Spots, well, Dots Delight didn't grow. These all 5 died. And Terry didn't grow them well. It wasn't a good grower. These are not the greatest growers. So I need to breed these back to probably Sorokowsky, get some bigger from species, and come back in a couple generations to get back to these petals. So it'll be a project, but it'll be worth it.
Question regarding bigger. With the cats, we like to go every 5 generations back to a primary species to get bigger. Now being less species, how many generations?
I like one species a lot. I do it a lot.
Yeah, but for others, is it 5, 8?
I wouldn't go that long. Yeah, genomic breeding is the way to go. That Turban Boat cross, they grew like weeds, customers love them. There's boom, off they went. So I made another Rubidium hybrid this last year, and I'm going to Supercilian, yeah. Genomic breeding, you get half of every chromosome is coming from a species. It cleans things out basically. It gets rid of lethal gene expression, and it just brings a lot more bigger and more consistency to the cross. So the cross is going to be more uniform than if you put two hybrids together. This was Wonder Web. That's half Colosum. Wide range of colors. I like that hybrid a lot. There's that Hawaiian volcano again. Crossed it to Master Sienna. I know I like Master Sienna as a parent. That gave me Delta Breeze. Really like Delta Breeze. Waxy flowers last a long time. Do that. A customer in Washington, DC, I think area got one of these awarded last. You can see they're lost. The flowers last a long time. And I also took this one and crossed it to the new stone. And there's one of the first to bloom, Sierra Sky. Bright greens, lots of pink overlay. I've only seen a couple bloom. There's actually 3 in blood for sale if anybody's interested. And since I liked Hawaiian volcano so much, I made a sim cross. Make more of them. This one has great color. This one with red comes. This one, the pollen's already used. This one just opened yesterday. It's the first time I saw it. And the best buds still haven't opened. There's some buds that look really promising. But basically, this opens up a lot of different directions for breeding with color. Now, this one's got all that red and dark. This one has the red. It's got the dark green. There's a lot of ways I can go with these. Color is what people like. Another Master Sienna hybrid, Hawaiian Peacock by Master Sienna. Gave me Master Peacock. That's in the sun. That's what the color was in the sun. Judges didn't like that, so they awarded this one. So what did judges? There's one. That's a bear. This has been a really nice hybrid too. Dream Treasure, I said Fairyum hybrids don't necessarily breed on well. This is the second generation Fairyum hybrid one. So, this is 25% Fairyum. So this one did breed. A lot of funky, gnarly leaves that I have to call out. You know, those accordions, well, sideways accordions maybe. I got an AM on this one recently, and I brought some to Toronto in October, and somebody got an AM on that one in the summer. And then this is two of this got an AM from me back in summer. That is Macaw Midnight. And then this is Painted Petula. So again, I'm doing a lot with these black petals, and then I also want to get more of these scarlet, bright red petals. The parent of this one is Hawaiian Treasure, and it's my most requested division that people ask for. It's gone, it died, because I use it to make things. I'd rather have the seedlings than not, than just have that plant sitting. I knew I was risking the plant, but I got seedlings, so that's what I do. So lots of this sort of stuff coming in the future. All right, bit on culture. These are easy to grow. They don't need a ton of light. They like the temperatures we do. They're comfortable in the temperatures we are. So a little warmer than, summer outside of San Francisco, but, at home, I use the Michigan State University formula of fertilizer. At about 150 parts per million through the growing season. There's online calculators to help you figure that out. Firstraise.com, First Raise Orchids has one. You enter the 13, 3 from 15, and then teaspoon per gallon, whatever you're using, it spits out the number. This time of year, if we fertilize, we're down around 75 or so parts per million. And good quality water. I mean, most orchids like it, Paphs really like it. But the key thing is watering. How do you water? Water, water, water. Flush, flush, flush. Yeah. So that's exaggerated slightly, but we do flush like that. You want to flush all that stuff. We come across every section 3 times. First pass just sort of wets it. Third pass gets it. Second pass gets it right through. Third pass flushes out that extra mineral buildup.
But you don't want it sitting in the water.
No, it's got to flush through. You can't stand in water. You look at the bottom of the pots, they're wide open, lots of drainage. You want that water running through there. That's a dram watering wand we use. It breaks the water down into fine droplets. And we hold it high above, get lots of air, oxygen pickup. Roots need oxygen. Did you water it properly? Pop it out of the shack. Paphs don't mind having the roots disturbed, okay? Cameraman called it sick, so that would be the it's hard to stay on focus. Entire profile should be wet. If you don't water properly, it's going to channel down the sides and then have it dry in the middle, and just a little water gets there. Every time you do it, a little more salt builds up. No shortcuts. Flush them. Repot them every year. Repot them every year. We use Orchiata for up to 3.5 inch pots. It's number 3 grade perlite, some charcoal, charcoal's optional, classic Orchiata. That's a lot of drainage. Again, roots need air. Roots like air.
What's your ratio of that?
Roughly a third of everything. Yeah. That is a plant that was not set up to success. That was in a peaty sort of wet mix. Where the roots are, they're on top looking for air. There's a couple going down the side to grab some water, the rest are up there just gasping for air. That's not a happy plant. You saw the ones I popped out of the pot earlier. The roots were through the whole mix. That's what you want to see. And if you have an open mix and water properly, that's what you'll see. I had to go online to find these mealy bugs. I've never seen them.
I have.
Never, never seen one of those in my industry. Nope.
That's why.
If you have a lot of paths, they're gonna find it, especially if you have a path to use them. If you got a path to use them, every million other paths is heading for it. They're going for it right now. I see it. Produce them as hybrids, they love. If you get a new path, if you're wrong, set it aside for a week or two, we'll monitor it, I'll put it with your plants, make sure there's nothing on it. Before you add it to construction. Mealies are pretty easy unless they get really, really sharp at the top like this. We spray constantly, still have to. Still got to, never be in the.
Oh, virus.
Not an issue with, this generally. Yes,
And then any breeders that focus on leaves.
not that I know of, but I mean, those deep burgundy leaves that I showed you, those sell like crazy just for the foliage, for sure. I always like to thank the photographers, whose photos I took. There, you know, of course, all the folks that I talked to and my good friend Rito passed away last year. Big loss for all of us. And Sacramento Speakers Day. August 3rd, Ron McHatton from AOS is coming. Philip Hamilton from Florida, bred orchids, he's been breeding some amazing Phalaenopsis. Really super guy. He is more than likely coming, but it's still working on. Andrea Neeson from Columbia, we are trying to get her, she hasn't answered me now, I guess it's Christmas. But we are hoping she will come, I don't think she will, if not, we will come up with somebody, hopefully equally as impressive. She has not been in California in a long time. So, and she'll bring some stuff to school as well, too, so that's. We'll tell her not to bring much cool growing stuff to Sacramento, but obviously, she can, and yeah, she'll probably pre-orders for stuff you want to.
Do you know what they're going to be speaking on?
Not yet. This is still in the works. There's a live auction always, you know, Alan's an amazing auctioneer. We'll have some good divisions awarded plants and things, at the silent auction, there's AOS judging. It's a nice day. Now it's not that far to Sacramento. It's a good day. So I do recommend it. So keep an eye on our judging website and details. And we'll keep the society informed, obviously, once we support all our speakers.
It's gonna do live auction.
That Alan guy. Some of you don't.
That's.
Yeah.
The one who's on that whole link.
Yeah, that guy. A little hard. Any other questions? Lots of nice plants here, sorry.
How cool you go.
These guys, night temperatures, we'll run the nursery down to about 58 in the winter. The complex paths I did, they'll grow outdoors here. Maudiae's not so much, they need to be inside. Summer temps, the greenhouse goes up to 90 on the next days, so you don't have to worry about that here so much. Yeah. They like the temperatures we do, like I said, they're comfortable with the temperatures we are. So when it's a little cool outside here and the house is working. No other questions? Okay. Are there frag cap problems? People have claimed there are. Nobody's ever looking one.
I saw one where they brought stony eyes and rag. Kind of like a stone.
Yeah. No, people who say
Stony
that,
eye stuff.
yeah, people pollinate something and they get germination, it's just been a frag notorious for. I saw it, it was all pollen, so, yeah.
And we'll take a, if you're interested in getting some more data plans or just go find, we'll take a 15-minute break.
Thank you.
Oh, we'll do it during the house. The monster plant returns, the bulb, okay? I love that one. The big monster thing, it returned.
Here, tomorrow, appropriate spot for it.
They don't support the stupidity of the new genera in this society.
You're probably afford to stop sharing that now.
No, we're still doing Zoom.
No, maybe stop sharing his slideshow.
No, I'm still sharing my screen. Because we still have to go through the Zoom vote. I am sharing this screen.
Oh, this is show and tell.
Yes. I'm learning, Bill. I've seen that in film, but I haven't, yeah, he doesn't work a long time, and I don't, and I feel like that a lot, but I haven't really in fact. You did that. Oh, I got a lot of people that work at- I thought it was a year. It's 33.
Well, it's good. It's good. It looks like it's fading size. This kind of always, I don't have really always got some.
Yeah,
interesting.
Personal background. Yes, I want to be very fair. No, I'm making fair. I don't feel that I don't know how the kids kind over out, right? You know, back. But mine, they have to get the heater. I'm here to look for the heater. Yeah, but they carry it. And I would go through the catalog now. No, they operate the their into. And then they turn why still here? Versus me. That's right. What they buy the car or what wrong with the car, so you can get $30. And that is all we need. Yeah. I'm glad. Well, tell Jeff I've got one, I've got a backflow before Paradise finale. Everyone, if you can make your last little come around, we're gonna turn around showing Cal here in a moment. Thank you. We're gonna start showing Cal. Just make your last couple, stay here. Thank you. Right? Okay, okay, thank you, Zoom folks. We're back online. We're gonna now start with show and tell. First,
Wait, let everybody sit down. Tell people to sit down.
everybody, can you sit down, please? Thank you. Take a seat, take a seat. Thank you. Show and tell. So first in show and tell, we have Paphs Paradise, just relating back to our talk. This is a little bit of a different than what we had. This is a Harveycephalum, Harveycephalum type. This is Alina Kupowitz. Brought in from. I'm sorry, I don't want to pronounce that name. No, the exhibitor. Valerie, sorry, it was different spelling of it, sorry. Valerie.
Let me do this so that we can.
Oh, yes, yes, okay.
We awarded one plant tonight. Dave Sorokowsky got an AM of 81 points. And it's a Helen. Oh. Which side is the camera on? There's no side on the camera.
We're good.
The only previous award was from 1987, quite a while ago.
Where's the champagne?
At Dave's after the meeting.
And he's paying for
It's only 3.5 hours away.
Had that on the sales table and no one bought it.
So we had to award it.
So there's one previous award that was hybrid.
Is that what we're saying? This one's awardable?
Yeah.
He doesn't lie.
I told everybody it was
Yeah.
awardable. Yeah, it's why.
What did it get again?
81.
81.
Okay,
Push around.
yeah. Tom, speak.
We have a Helen Milton from Paph Paradise. There's the-
There we go, we got it, go.
Oh, there, I'm looking in the center here. It's Sorokowsky by Violasens. Violasens is from like Papua New Guinea. It's a real warm growing, difficult to grow. Sorokowsky is from Philippines, and it's very easy to grow. My guess, this would be very easy to grow. It gets the best of both.
Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, now back to virtual show now. Thank you, judges. So then Lena Kupowitz from Valerie, a fantastic plant. Did you get this when Teresa Hill was here?
Whatever, June 20. Whatever.
Yeah, so for Teresa Hill, breeding. No. Next, we have Jeff Harris's Dracula. Marsalis, yes. Very nice. Dracula, known for their monkey-looking faces. Some of the newer ones here, nice, and known for that bulbous lip versus the rest of the Masdevallias. Next, we go to Judy's Masdevallia granulosa. This is one of the cattleyas, one of the Masdevallias that are used for spotted breeding and a beautiful small plant, fuller growing. Next, we have Jeff Harris's Pleurophthalus. Yes. A little cute, transparent, yellow see-through plant, and. No, we're super in it. Next, we have some photos from Kay's exhibit to Africa for her trip in situ. So next I'm gonna let Kay kind of speak on this one because I don't know much about these genera. So Kay, if you'd like to chime in, feel free.
I don't know that much about them either, except that they grow in the case of South Africa. They're terrestrials, and, that one is Elophia speciosa. There are a lot of those. These are the new stuff. Should have tried to blow that one up. It's a really beautiful design. There are many kinds of DISA, that we've never seen before, or that I've never seen before, so that's for sure.
And you should,
Lots of different species.
and am I correct that that's just like a low level wetlands because species are known for, if you're going to grow them well. You need really pure water, and you can see that in the clarity of the in situ condition.
But some of them, yes, some of them are pretty wet. Some are not.
Yeah.
The one that you're thinking of is these flora, which I don't have a photo of here. But that one typically grows, the way Fred Bessie grows, the water on the hillside with water trickling down.
Yeah.
But this one, it was very wet in there. It's very squishy. There were a lot of carnivorous plants in this area as well. It's very weird piece of.
That is very weird, yes.
And this one is called the spider orchid for good reason, as you can see by the name. And that was pretty dry and sandy.
Interesting. And next we have Jess Harris's Vanda tessellata, mini Palmer. This is this tesserata comes in a lot of color forms. We actually have it here in person tonight, which we'll talk once we get off the Zoom. Beautiful small plant. These are one of the bandas that can actually grow in our climate in our greenhouses versus the big dinner plate bandas. And it has a marshmallow peak smell. And that is for it for show and tell. We have a lot of other plants here. And as one member just said, the meetings are a lot better in person for the Zoom folks. So please consider to continue if you want to see more plants and get more raffle tickets, feel free to come in person the next time, or Zoom is always here if you need to. Thank you and have a good night. We're gonna go out. We're gonna end the Zoom folks.